Hi there, welcome to this short series of films which I've put together in the build up to the exhibition at Easter House, which hopefully you'll all manage to come along to. The purpose of these films is to try and give you some idea of the way that I work, maybe give you some idea of the process, and to hopefully have a look at some of my paintings and to set them in the context of perhaps Scottish art, but also of world art in general. And the first painting we're going to look at, the first painting I want to talk about is this piece, which is a very, very new painting. In fact, at the point when I'm making this short film, it has actually never been out of the studio, so you're all getting a bit of a sneak preview. The name of the painting is Inside Out. And as you can see, the subject matter is perhaps something which is known to you, an area of Glasgow up in the West End, quite a famous cafe called Caffè Nardini. I'm fascinated by Glasgow, I always have been. It's my hometown, I love it. And particularly in the winter, Glasgow amazes me because I've always felt that as you go through the city in the winter, there are two worlds which coexist. The exterior world, which, as we all know, tends to be quite cold and usually wet and quite dark in the winter. And existing at the same time visually, you have this interior world, which couldn't be any more different. It's warm, it's light, it's very open. So there's a complete contrast between the two, and all that separates these two worlds is this sheet of glass. And it's something over the years which has really, really caught my eye, and it's something I've been determined I was going to do something with it. That's often easier said than done. Quite often an idea can rest in my sketchbook for, well, in this case, easily a decade. The initial drawings for these paintings were made years and years and years ago. So if an idea is a good one, just because it hasn't happened yet doesn't mean it's not going to happen. You can see that the style here, this is a variation on the way that I work. Probably this style is akin to what you might see in other rainy day paintings. There are a whole series of paintings I make which use Glasgow as the backdrop, normally in the rain. So there are elements of that type of painting in this, but this is a bit of a deviation. The attention to detail is probably what you would notice first. Seeing it on film, it probably looks quite photographic. Actually, when you get a chance to see it in the flesh, it's not so photographic. It's actually relatively loose in places. And I've attempted to reconcile these two worlds in this painting. Looking at it at the moment, I feel perhaps I haven't really come to grips with the darkness in terms of the way Glasgow is in the winter. I intend to revisit this, and that's something that I want to amplify. But you can really see this whole idea of the two separate worlds. The exterior, which you would imagine is fairly cold, it's night time, and this warm, soft, welcoming interior. Now, the reference points for this painting, all art, there's a very famous saying, all art is plagiarism, which means very simply that things never really just exist in their own right. Everything that you see has been created as a consequence of other things. It will be one in a series of one idea leading to another idea. And the people that I have looked at when I wanted to make this are specifically a couple of American artists. A guy called Richard Estes. There should be some information in the fact sheets that I put together for this. Regarded to be a photorealist painter, an American painter, who focused on primarily the city of New York, Very, very highly finished, quite amazing pieces. And I got a chance to see one when I was over in Madrid, one called Telephone Booths, which I think was painted in 1968. He also has a whole load of paintings where he features on diners, so he was an inspiration for me when I was thinking about where to take these paintings. The other reference point, another very, very famous American artist called Edward Hopper. He produced a very famous, one of the most famous paintings of all time, a painting called Nighthawks at the Diner. There's a very good chance that without knowing what this painting is, you'll know the painting. It features a cafe, and you have two figures sitting at the bar and a third figure who's about to serve them. Edward Hopper's work is not just about realism. His work is to do with, there's always a psychological element to what he does. So there's something maybe a bit awkward about that particular painting. And although I haven't gone down the same route to the same extent, these two figures are they're quite intriguing. When you see the painting in the flesh, you are left to wonder, what's the narrative, what's going on? What's she doing? What's she waiting for? So there's a sense of almost isolation. Although there's lots and lots of people in the space, both of them exist in quite a separate world. I'm excited to see what comes next here. As I say, this is the first. Where are we? We're round about the beginning of November at this point. I'm not quite sure I'll manage to have anything else started by the time the show takes place at the beginning of December. But definitely as the new year, into the new year, this is something that I'm going to pick up on. So given that I've just filmed this at this stage, it'll be very interesting to see how this theme develops and where I take it.